Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's Sunday now, so we got a couple of things we're going to go over. We're going to go over as far as the Bitcoin miners that are publicly traded. What is their network hash rate compared to the overall Bitcoin network hash rate? Has that been increasing as far as percentage-wise? We'll take a look at that. Some metrics on that as well, and then we'll also take a look at how Bitcoin has performed over the last week, along with the miners, see how they compare to each other, and go over the 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and 12 weeks as we always do. And then finally, we'll get into the top 5 Bitcoin miners, top 10 Bitcoin miners, based on 8 metrics and 6 metrics. So we'll do all those scores at the end. And we'll take a look at Bitcoin, see what's going on there as well. We'll kind of give you my thoughts on it as well. But as always, you guys know this is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. And then I'm invested in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you always enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Hit the little notification bell. That way you get notified when I do post a new video. And let's take a look at what's going on here with the with the Bitcoin network hash rate compared to the Bitcoin miners hash rate, total one. Okay, so this is something that's new that I added into my spreadsheet here. I thought this would be kind of interesting to take a look at how miners publicly traded stack up to the overall Bitcoin network hash rate. And so this was what I've come up with. So I've been tracking it for the last basically since 2021 towards the third quarter of it like that, but I don't have the data in this spreadsheet. All I have is the data from January of 2022. And we're going all the way basically to August of this year as well. So on this chart, you can see here that the network hash rate, the way it has grown up and down a little bit here, but overall in the last 6-7 months or so this year, it has definitely went up quite tremendously here. It's in December it was at 253 million terahashes and in basically 253 exahash, and towards August right now at 390. So obviously we increased by about 140 exahash here overall in the Bitcoin network hash rate. Now the miners started out that I cover at 31 exahash here in January of last year. They're all the way up to 103 exahash here now, which is basically a 3x increase over that, while as the network hash rate has only grown from, well, almost doubled here, 2x, from 195 exahash all the way up to almost 400 exahash here in September. So obviously the miners here are adding more than the total network hash rate is, okay? So that's how things stack up here. And then when we look at the month over month public Bitcoin hash rate increase decrease versus the Bitcoin network hash rate increase decrease, the network hash rate increase is this kind of light green here, kind of, I don't know, beige, I guess you could say. And then the miners are down below here. Network hash rate increased tremendously here, obviously in February of 2022, April, also in September of 2022, then quite a bit here in January of this year. February and definitely in March here, we had huge increases in that, while we've seen pretty good increases here on the miner side of things in August of last year, October as well, January of this year, and April of this year. Then we've had sizable increases here as well this June, July, and August as well, about 5 to 6 exahash being added each month there, month over month, okay? Now, as far as how did the miners stack up to the percentage of the Bitcoin network hash rate, we can see that we started out with the miners here at 16.1% of the network hash rate in January of 2022. In August, we now account for 26.4% of the network hash rate. The increase is also contributable to other miners becoming public. We've had TeraWolf, Cypher, BitDeer as well being added to that as well. So we are having more and more miners becoming public here, but they've also been growing quite tremendously as well. Marathon, Riot, CleanSpark, and others have grown tremendously with their hash rate over the last 2 years. So that's contributing to it as well. So it's kind of nice to take a look at it this way. And then when we look at the actual increases that the miners have had here, publicly traded ones, month over month hash rate percentage increase or decrease, we saw huge increases obviously last year in August. They were up 17.9% from the prior month. In October, 16.7%, and then January, 12.1% as well. And then over the last 6 to 7 months or so, we've kind of averaged right around 6% or so in increases per month, which is quite nice there, okay? And the reason I did this was to kind of, one, take a look at to see how the miners are doing against the network hash rate, and is there any truth really to nation states possibly starting to get involved with Bitcoin mining, using up some of the electricity that they do have, mining Bitcoin as well and things like that. And we'll have to see obviously how it goes forward, but right now it just doesn't look like that's a big issue, at least not yet. But it might be an issue down the road. We'll have to see. There might be several countries that might end up doing this. Obviously the ones that are against the West and things like that, other places as well. but we'll have to keep an eye on it. But this is the way we'll kind of see what's going on with the publicly traded miners along with the network hash rate itself in general. Okay, so that's it for that one. Let's take a look at the weekly numbers that we do have here on the miners here. So this is for the past week here. I track it from Friday to Friday for both the miners and Bitcoin as well. And we look at the 52-week lows and the 52-week highs from where they were within the last 52 weeks. So the green bars are how far they're up from the 52-week lows. The red bars are how far away they are from the 52-week highs. Okay, so core obviously came in at way up there at 1,607% from their low. Their low was like around 6 cents after they reported their bankruptcy Chapter 11 filing. That definitely tanked the stock there, but it has definitely rebounded quite nicely here since then. Then we got Cypher up 651%, Iris up 340%, BitDigital up 330%, DigiHost 232%. So those have obviously done a lot better here than Bitcoin, about 3x, 4x, some of them even more than that. Well, Core is up tremendously here from its 52-week low. Bitcoin is only up 70% here and from its 52-week low here. And then Mawson has actually done better recently. It has increased in price. Sphere 3D has been lagging the whole time. And the other miners here are right around 200 some percent, 100 some percent as well above that. So those have been doing better, which we would expect the miners to do better than Bitcoin being a leverage play on Bitcoin, right? So that's good to see there. As far as how far they are away from their 52-week highs, we can see that Argo is still quite a ways away, 77%. Mawson up still 80% away from that. And then the rest are kind of like in the 60s, 50s, and 40 percentile, except for BitDeer. BitDeer is only 11.9%. But BitDeer also came public here within the last couple of months, and that's why they're kind of down there. Bitcoin is also only 16.4% from its 52-week high as well, which will be from last year. So we might be getting close to getting above that maybe in the next couple of weeks. We'll see where Bitcoin goes on that one, okay? As far as the performance for on the weekly here, we'll take a look at the miners here. We're looking at the 12 weeks right now. We'll take a look at the 4 weeks actually. Now, where's the 4 weeks? There it is, or on the 1 week, sorry. The 1 week, we want to look at that one. So we're descending. So as far as how the miners performed last week, we can see that Bitcoin is actually up 2.71% last week. So the following miners did better. Sphere 3D, Mawson, BitDeer, BitDigital, DigiHost have done better than Bitcoin here, with Sphere 3D being up 30.2%. Pretty good week there, along with Mawson being up 23%. And then the following miners have done worse here, with Marathon being down 10.17%. And that's based on their debt being converted over into shares. So their share dilution about 26 million roughly. So that's obviously taking a hit on that one. Core was down 8.62%, TeraWolf 6.67%, and you can see the rest here as well on that. So hedge bought early last week. This is the way you would be up right now or down. If we look at the 4-week percentage chart on it as well, see how those have stacked up. Bitcoin is actually up 2.15% from there. The ones that have done better are Riot, DigiHost, Argo, Iris, Sphere 3D, Mawson, having huge gains here the last 2 ones here. Those guys have typically been towards the bottom end of things. So it looks like people are maybe buying up some of the shares that have been really beaten down here, it looks like, in the last couple of weeks. And that's maybe why we're seeing the huge increases in them from 4 weeks ago and then from 1 week ago as well. Then when we look at the 8 weeks here, let's do that really quick. We can see that Bitcoin at this point is down 9.24%. The only one that's done better is BitDeer, is up 27.45%. Everybody else has done worse here. You got Mawson, TeraWolf, DigiHost, BitDigital, Riot being down below 40%. So we see the opposite side of things. When Bitcoin goes down, the miners obviously, well, underperform Bitcoin by a large margin for the most part. Okay, and then we see the opposite when Bitcoin is going up. The miners outperform it. Okay, and then from 12 weeks ago, if we look at it really quick as well, we can see here that Bitcoin at that point is down 12.69%. The following companies have done better: Riot, DMG, TeraWolf, Iris, Sphere 3D, Cypher, CleanSpark, and BitDeer. The one that's done worse is Mawson here, 58% down, with BitDigital being down 43%, DigiHost down 42%, Hut down 36%, and Argo being down 35%. And then the rest being down as well, underperforming Bitcoin for 12 weeks. Okay, so that's how things shaped up. Had you bought at 12, 8, and 4 weeks and 1 week ago. Now, when we look at the actual weekly chart here, the heat map, we can see that in the last 9 weeks, we've had 8 weeks in the red, which we really haven't seen something like this since last year, where we had that many weeks that we were mostly in the red. We have some weeks here that were kind of split a little bit here. This was in the week of 8/11. So about a month ago, we were kind of split here as far as being green and red. This week, we're also kind of split a little bit, but we're seeing a little bit more red here. So this is definitely unusual. And I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see a little bit of a reversal on that, where we start to getting a little bit more green, but we'll have to see where Bitcoin goes. And we'll talk about Bitcoin here at the end anyways. Okay, but that's the way things stack up for that. And then let's take a look at the performance for the miners here in August. Which ones came in as top 5 and top 10 best performing miners for August. So we do this based on 8 metrics here and 6 metrics. So we look at month over month hash rate growth, current hash rate, Bitcoins per exahash efficiency, month over month BTC mined percentage, BTC mined, days mined. So we're looking for curtailment, how much did they curtail, HODL, BTC percentage sold of what they mined as well. And then we look at all those, and then those are the 8 metrics. And then for the 6 metrics, we don't include BTC HODLed or current hash rate. Okay, so here's how things stack up. Month over month percentage hash rate growth, higher is obviously better here. CleanSpark came in at number 1 with 34%, followed by Sphere 3D with 30%, then Marathon at 6.21, Hive at 5.37%, Argo at 5.22. Those are the top 5 here for growth here. Percentage-wise, if we look at the current hash rate, Marathon obviously came in number 1 with 19 exahash, Riot with 10 exahash, CleanSpark at 9.3 exahash, BitDeer is at 7.2 exahash roughly right now. They're definitely chomping at the bits here of CleanSpark. And we'll see how much further they're going to grow here, BitDeer. And then you can see the rest here as well. Then we got Cypher at 5.8 exahash. So those would be the top 5 here as far as current hash rate. BTC per exahash efficiency, higher is obviously better. We have DigiHost at 76.67. They're the best here, followed by Hive at 74.25, Iris at 73.38, CleanSpark at 70.85 as well. So those guys are, along with BitDigital, top 5 here. And you can see the rest here as far as those guys stack up. With Riot being at 31.12, Riot curtailed a lot, along with Argo. And they were based in Texas. That's the reason why we had a heat wave. They curtailed a tremendous amount of energy there during the month of August. Okay, now when we look at month over month BTC mine percentage, we can see BitDeer increased by 74%. They also increased their hash rate tremendously here in August. That's the reason why their increase is so big. DigiHost was up 27.27%, CleanSpark was up 14.6%, BitDigital was up 5.1%, and Hive was up 4.18%. Those are the top 5 here for this category. The worst ones were Riot, Argo, Cypher, Hut 8, Marathon, Iris, and Sphere 3D. They actually went down. And Mawson obviously didn't report, so they're at 0 right now. That's why they're negative 100% on that one. BTC mined, Marathon came in number 1 with 1,062, CleanSpark at 659, Iris at 410, Bitfarms and BitDeer at 383 each. So those guys are tied for 4th spot basically, and then Cypher came in at number 5 spot with 357. And then with Riot at 333, TeraWolf at 330, and then you got the smaller miners down below here as well. You can see that. The days mined, so we're looking to see how many days they were in operation based on the average Bitcoin network hash rate, the average Bitcoin price for the month, and what did they report as far as BTC being mined. This is how I calculate as far as how many days they were up in operation in order to get to the dollar value for that month based on the BTC average price times the BTC mined. And this is what we came up with here. So Hive, BitDigital, and CleanSpark were all operating for the full month at 31 days. Iris at 30.23 days, Bitfarms at 30 days, DigiHost at 29.85, and TeraWolf at 28.81. So those are basically our top 5 in the spot here, with 3 of them being tied for first place on it. And then you got Riot here at 13.31 days and Argo at 16.51 days. Like I said, it's because of the curtailment they did in August being based in Texas. But the good part of it for Riot is obviously they made like $31 million in credits, if not more. I can't remember if it was 31 or 33 million. I know it was over 30 million based on it. Okay, then when we look at the HODL position here, Marathon has the largest HODL at 13.2 thousand, Hut 8 with 9.1, Riot at 7.3, Hive at 2,000, CleanSpark at 1.6 now, so they're getting close to Hive right there. We'll see, maybe they can surpass them in the next month or two, but we'll still have to see. And then BTC percentage sold here, we can see that how much they sell of what they mined in August. Hut 8 didn't sell anything, so they're at 0. CleanSpark came in second, 6.5. BitDigital at 41%. So 3rd spot, Marathon at 4th spot at 69%. Bitfarms in the 5th spot at 84%. Then you can see everybody else here, how much they've been selling here in the past month as well. Okay. Then when we go down to the actual metric scores here, here's how things stacked up. For the 8 metrics, CleanSpark came in number 1, followed by Marathon, Hive, Bitfarms, BitDigital. Those are the top 5 there, minus for performance-wise or in all metrics for August. And then you got everybody else down here. Moss came in last because they haven't reported yet. And then when we look at the 6 metrics, which are more of the performance-based metrics here, not including HODL or network or hash rate. CleanSpark came in number 1 again. Then you got Hive and BitDigital type for 2nd spot. Bitfarms in the 3rd spot, Iris Energy in the 4th spot, Marathon in the 5th spot, and then everybody else down here below or to the right of it. Okay, so let me know what you guys think of all of this information here. And then let's take a look at Bitcoin, just what's going on here really quick with that one. Okay, so when looking at Bitcoin, we can see here that it's 26,525. It has bounced above our resistance or support now at 26,000, which is good to see. We were bouncing off of the 25,000 mark, which is kind of the support that we had back here. This was back in June of this year, right around the 14th or so. We bounced off of that, and then so we'll see if this contains or continues to be support at 25,000. If that doesn't continue to be support, we might be going down like the 23,800 mark and 21,100, well, 21,000 mark, somewhere around there as well. I think the 23,000 mark is more possible than the 21,000, but we'll have to see. I don't think, well, it's kind of tough. On the daily chart right now, what I'm seeing is that's kind of inconsistent as far as the RSI. The RSI right now is at 51. Last time we were back here, price was actually higher at that point. So I'm seeing a downward pressure on Bitcoin on the daily chart, but when we look at the 4-hour chart, we can actually see some difference here on it. So when we look at the peaks here on it, more or less here, and kind of, well, if we look at this peak here, we can see the price was right around 26,600. If we go to the previous peak over here, we were actually at right around 26,200 or so. So we were lower in price from where we are right now. And the RSI is at the same spot. So I'm starting to see a little bit of a reversal here in Bitcoin as far as RSI and Bitcoin price appreciation going up. And we can also see the same thing happening here on the 1-hour chart. So if we look at the peaks here a little bit, we can possibly look at this one here, which at this point, price is at 26,600 again. And then when we look at the peak corresponding to it, which would be like these peaks here, Bitcoin price here was actually higher. And then if we look at it over further back, we can see here, price was actually lower on it. So it's kind of unknown right now as far as which way it wants to go, but we'll have to see if it can continue to stay above the support line of 26,000 here. That would be a good sign. If it breaks below that, well, we're possibly going to be testing 25,000 mark again. And then if we test that too many times, we might be going down to 23,000 mark, somewhere around there. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm looking at as far as Bitcoin is concerned right now. We still, like I said, have a long ways to go before the halving event. We have at least another 6 months before that happens. In the meantime, September is not usually a good month for Bitcoin in general, historically, and we'll see where it goes. We only have a couple more weeks here in September, and then the 3rd quarter is going to be over with already, which is, I mean, time's flying by. But we'll see how those stack up on the miners when they report their quarterly results here in about 2 months or so. We'll do some data on that as well, and we'll see where things go just. But you know, right now it's kind of unknown as far as which way it wants to go. Obviously, after the halving event, I believe it's going to go up, or even before the halving event, it's going to go up because the supply crunch. Supply and demand issues are going to play into effect here, and with less supply, price is going to go up on Bitcoin like it has in the past, halving cycles as well. So I'm not too worried about that. It's just the period that we're in right now is kind of unknown as far as which way we're going to go for the time being. Okay, but if you're a long-term holder, nothing to worry about here. This is part of the course. So Bitcoin, like I said, we'll see where it goes. All right, so that is it for everything. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. The spreadsheets are going to be available to my Patreon members there. That's only $4 a month right now. That's going to be going up to $5 a month per month. And I've also, I think, offered right now a new pricing structure where if you pay for the full year, you get 10% off of that as well. So you can do that if you want. But that's going to be going up in price. And what else do we have here? Oh, the spreadsheets for the YouTube members, those are going to be, I'm going to take pictures of those things, and those are getting posted today already as is. So we're catching up there, and I'm catching up on other things as well. But otherwise, we'll see what happens during the week here. We'll keep you guys posted. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you guys in the next one.